Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du. In this video, I would like to make a simple tutorial on how to install TailwindCSS. So first, go to your browser and type in the TailwindCSS official domain and click get started to go to the documentation, and the first is installation. So there are four ways you can install TailwindCSS. The first one is using Tailwind CLI, the second one is using PostCSS, the third one is framework guides, and the last one is using the Play CDN. So in this video I'm going to show you how to install the Tailwind CLI and to use the Play CDN. So first, Tailwind CLI. Before we can install the Tailwind CLI, you need to know that we require Node.js and also npm in order to install this Tailwind CLI. The simplest and fastest way to get up and running with Tailwind CSS from scratch is with the Tailwind CLI tool. The CLI is also available as a standalone executable if you want to use it without installing Node.js. So you can still install Tailwind CLI without Node.js using the standalone executable. First, let's install Tailwind CLI using npm. So the first step is to install Tailwind CSS. Now back to the VS Code. Okay, first you need to open a folder, so I'm gonna create a folder real quick. Okay, now that I have a folder open, I can open the terminal. Yes, trust. Now because I have npm, I can just copy this codes and paste it in my terminal. Paste. Now I need to wait for a few moments. It shouldn't take long, or depending on the internet speed or your connection speed. Okay, you can see the progress going up there. Now I can execute the second command, npx TailwindCSS init, which is to initialize our TailwindCSS package. Now as you can see, we have three new files and one directory here. Now we're going to open tailwind.config.js and go to the next step. Configure your template paths. Okay, now I'm going to create a new file, which is our template, or the file on where we will be working on and where we are going to use the Tailwind CSS. And at this file, inside the content part in the tailwind.config.js. Now the third step, I'm going to copy the code. Now I'm going to create a new folder, src, and inside the src folder, a new file named input.css. Inside that input.css file, I'm going to paste everything I just copied earlier, and then I'm going to create the base tree in the HTML. And to the next step, start the Tailwind CLI build process. I'm going to copy that and just put it inside the terminal and paste and enter to run. Now as you can see, it created another file, which is output.css, which is the file that we're going to import inside our template. So I'm going to put link src output.css. And if you noticed, every time I make changes, the terminal rebuilds, the Tailwind CSS rebuilds the output CSS to update everything that we are using in the template. Okay, and the last step is to start using Tailwind in your HTML. So we have successfully installed TailwindCSS using the first method, which is to install the CLI using npm. So now I can terminate the job. And now for the second tutorial, I'm gonna delete everything because we're gonna start from scratch. Okay, now for the one with the standalone executable, in case you don't have npm, you can also still use the Tailwind CLI using the standalone executable. So you can just click here, click in this latest release link, scroll down and find your the file for your OS. Because I'm using Windows, I'm gonna pick Tailwind Windows x64.exe. That's gonna download the file. And now for ease of access, I'm gonna download it to the directory on which our project is. So it should not take long because it's only 37 megabytes. And once it's done, you can go back to VS Code. Here you have the file, and also for ease of access, you can rename it to TW, for example. It stands for Tailwind. And now if you type TW in the terminal, it's gonna automatically execute our tw.exe file. Now back to the first documentation. Now all we need to do is everything except we're not using npm, but a local executable file. So we can replace every npx Tailwind CSS with tw. So now, just like before, I'm gonna make index.html an src folder with input.css in it. Copy this. And now I'm gonna run tw init to initialize our Tailwind CSS package. Now in tailwind.config.js, add index.html, and finally run this command here. I can copy this, paste it in the terminal, and then replace the npx Tailwind CSS with tw. Okay, now it's running just like before, and now I can also use Tailwind CSS in my template file, and every time I do some changes, it will also automatically rebuild. Okay, so now it's done, so I can terminate it again and delete everything. We're gonna start from scratch for the third tutorial, which is to install Tailwind CSS using the play CDN. So it's very simple. I'm just gonna explain the first step here, which is to just import the CDN inside our template file. So I'm gonna create another index.html file, make the basic tree, and copy this part here for the script, paste it here, and now that means it should be connected, and I can use Tailwind CSS in this index.html file. Okay, so maybe that's all for my tutorial today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry for every mistake I made, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.